Welcome to Superstar Entrepreneurs, your go-to for abundance and wealth. This is Abundance Blueprint with Kimberly. Hello, 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 and welcome to the Abundance Blueprint with Kimberly. I'm Kimberly Lane Roberts, your host and the content creator. Whoops, we're doing the intro again. Sorry about that. Kimberly Roberts here, your content creator and your host, and where we interview very driven women and men who are taking their passion and turning it into their purpose. We have an exciting show today with Heather Richer. She's going to be talking about how to maximize your revenue with short-term rentals. Before we get into that, I always like to promote the Bay Area peer group that I am building. Heather happens to be a member as well. We are the average of the top 5 people we spend the most time with. So if you're looking to up your game, you might want to consider joining my Bay Area peer group. We are not just a networking group. We are a peer advisory board to help each other grow together, share advice, and learn from each other's experiences. So reach out to me at performanceleadershipinternational.com and let's have a conversation. All right, let's talk about our guest today. Heather has several mantras, and her team approach is the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And her personal mantra is, and maybe her mantra for her employees is, let me help you get uncomfortable. Before leading Richer Logic, she was VP of Revenue and Distribution at Kimpton Hotels and Restaurants. She has a huge background in the hotel and short-term rental space. It delivers a broad perspective of revenue cycle management services and products. She has many affiliations, AHLA, HEDNA, and many, many more, VRMA, and she really strives to serve her clients with great services and products that help maximize their revenue. Without further ado, let's bring up Heather. Heather.
Hey, Kimberly.
Hey, nice to have you on the show. Yes, perfect. Good. I ask all my guests, the first question I ask is, what does abundance mean to you? And you shared that it's being in a place of joy, health, and connection with friends, family, and community. And why did you choose that description?
So yeah, it's a big question, and I tried to make the answer concise that really speaks to it's if you have a balance of those things, right? Like spiritual, your mind, your body, and that's just not you. It's the friendships, the community, and then your work. That's when you feel like you've got a well-oiled machine running. And I mean, just you always want to be in that place, is my opinion.
Yeah, and I think stuff, as we know, stuff doesn't necessarily fulfill that need. It's the connections we have and the relationships that are enriching in our life. Very well said. Your pivotal moment, what that impacted your life, was moving from Chicago to Washington, D.C., and a boss named Barry. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So my story is, so I moved to Washington, D.C. For promotion, and I got there, and everybody who worked for me had a master's degree, and I didn't have one. So first of all, I'm like, okay, everyone's way smarter than me. Then for the first time, I had a boss who was asking really good questions, super interested in like what I was doing and challenging me. And really that combination of things, I ended up getting my master's degree because I was like, well, why don't I fix this problem? If it's going to bother me, like I can do something about it. And then Barry really helped me escalate my mindset to like, I can do more. And that's really being a good boss. Like it set an example for me. It's like what is a good leader, and that level of involvement and engagement, still empowering, but showing interest and encouraging. And just his style has stuck with me, for the rest of my career.
Yeah, you're really fortunate because not many leaders are like that. The majority are not. And so to truly take a huge interest in you and to help you see the possibilities of where you could go and what you could achieve. It's hard to do that, I think, when you're young without that support. So good for you for having such a pivotal person in your life too.
That's really lucky.
What was before this is an interesting question. If you were not surrounded by people that had master's degrees, and would you think you would have still gotten your master's degree? It was merely because you wanted to up level yourself, which is a good reason. I'm just curious.
I don't think so. When you live in Washington, D.C., anyone that does, it gives you a different perspective on things and encourages that type of like continuous learning. But I do think because it was in my day to day, in my work, that pushed me more than I would have on my own.
It's okay. It's good.
Yeah.
Your circumstances were very beneficial. Good for you. Um, Getting into what you do with Richer Logic, and specifically, I know you do not just short-term rentals, right? You do long-term rentals as well. But if people are, I think short-term rentals are probably more popular at this moment. I'm guessing. What would some of the three key strategies or advice that you would try to guide somebody if they want to get into this space or currently have a short-term rental that they're trying to manage?
No, it's a great question. And the beauty of the short-term rental industry is you can enter the industry as a side hustle with one property, or you can build this as your core business and have, hundreds of properties that you manage. And what we do at Richer Logic is support the pricing and distribution listing optimization side. So really driving top line revenue. And so you can get into it at any level, but really that there's three core things that you could say no matter how big you are or where you are getting started. And I'll just start with number one. So driving top line revenue. If you don't have the top line revenue, you really don't have a business. And sometimes folks enter it thinking it's like the design and I've got the technology, and you have to have that marketing and understand just how you're going to show up to customers. The second thing is being hospitality minded so that you're focused on guest experience. You think about Four Seasons, Ritz Carlton, and maybe you're not a luxury, you don't have luxury level properties, but that type of hospitality is so important. And some people approach having a short-term rental like just being a property manager. Like if
Hmm.
I just have it clean and working, that's good enough, but you have to really put your mind in the hospitality. You're now in the hospitality business. Then the third thing is don't overspend on tech. In
Hmm.
this industry, there's new technology all the time, and you can fall into the new shiny object syndrome quickly. And I just would caution on that. That's something to watch out for. So,
No, I would totally say that because I have a rental in Newport Beach, and the furnace I had to put a whole new furnace in. The furnace guy is like, "Oh, get the whole nest and remote, and when you land, you can turn the heater on." Well, of course, every tenant that's been in there can't get it to frickin' function, and so it's like I've had to rip it out and install a new one, right? So it's been like I totally agree with that part of it. And then going back to your hospitality experience, we were just talking about our vacation to San Miguel de Allende, and I have to say, our host, it was a small little penthouse place, but man, was she concierge, like where to eat, make these reservations, here's where you walk to, cute little, she totally, just made it very quaint and comfortable in this cute little, 1,000-foot space versus, we got a glimpse of some of the other apartments and it was like, so that hospitality piece I would totally
yeah,
give a huge shout out to.
yeah, the great example, right? She might just have that one apartment, but shows that care and connection to you as the guest. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think she continually gets like the top star rating. So very good key points. Going back to the top revenue, is that kind of do you help with all three? Are you mainly focused on the revenue piece of it? Just out of curiosity.
No, so when we say top line revenue, it's your whole commercial strategy. So really assessing what's in your toolbox. And obviously the bigger you are, the more you might have in your toolbox. Like you have past guests, and so you can email them. Are you, doing a good job of getting email collection? Are you doing a good job of understanding where you're priced? That's really the core area we work in versus, your comps in the market. And then, maybe there's even PR and social media, and some of that can be free. So you don't have to be big to engage, in that type of strategy too. So just kind of saying, what are you capable of, making sure you're clear on your toolbox, and then, growing that as you grow. But even with one property being, just getting started as a side hustle, you have a top line strategy, right? And you need to define it.
Yeah, very well said. And we will have Heather's contact information in the show notes, so do not worry about that. We'll make sure you can get in contact her if you need to. And then our final question of the show is, what would you tell your younger self if you had an opportunity to do that?
That you can actually do it. And when I was younger, I would be like, oh, that's not for me. I would never do that. And then as I've gone through life and now almost 50 years old, I'm like, oh, I actually did those things. But in my 20s, so you think that mindset, being in your early 20s, despite where you are and figuring out your own identity, if you can just believe in yourself, how much more can you achieve, and easier said than done. But
No.
that's one thing, if I could have convinced my younger self.
Yeah, and I think when we all get around the age of 50, we start thinking I think it's really important because I feel like that's just a shifting age mentally. We start thinking about uh, what are we contributing to life? Are we meeting our goals? How are we achieving our dreams? We kind of start being more reflective because we're looking at, the next 50 years of our life or so. So, but I think it's a perfect time for you to also look back and see what goals you set out, what you have achieved, how far you've come, and to recognize it and celebrate that. I think that's truly important. So
And I can at least try to tell my kids, right? They're if I didn't tell
try is
myself,
right.
I'm
You
gonna
could at
tell
least
someone
try.
else.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, it's been great to have you on the show, Heather. Any last minute thoughts you'd like to leave with our audience?
Thank you for having me. No, this is great. And these kinds of conversations are just helpful across the board, wherever you are in your career. So I really appreciate that you do this.
No, it's a joy to have you on. So I'll let you down in the green room. You can have a mocktail or whatever
It's
you
happy
like.
hour.
And yeah, exactly. We're getting close. And we'll talk in a bit. Okay, we'll tight.
Thanks.
Thank you all for watching the show. What a wonderful guest we had today with Heather. I will again have her contact information in the show notes. And just also think about if you're not feeling like you're thriving yet in 2025, we still have some time. So please reach out for a complimentary conversation with me. I'm really happy to help you manifest and achieve your dreams. So I'm going to say bye for now. Thank you for joining me today. You can explore and purchase my products and services at performanceleadershipint.com and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world to me. See you next time.